Of the 366 sightings included in the report, 171 remain uncharacterized.
And many high-ranking individuals in the military and intelligence communities believe UAPs demand greater attention.
Are contractors, are they pulling technology from this? Or they're reverse engineering this?
To your knowledge, have any USOs ever outpaced our submarines?
Yes, ma'am.
There are rumors that have come up to the Hill of a secretive project within the Department of Defense involving the manipulation of human genetics hybrids.
The question is it ours, is it someone else's, or is it otherworldly?
What you are looking at right now is the second congressional hearing on UAPs in Washington, D.C. And this is me. Now let me tell you how I got here.
Yo, what's up?
What's up, man? How you doing?
This is Jesse Michaels. You may know him for his channel American Alchemy, where he dives into the UAP subject like nobody else. Jesse and I have been chatting for a few days and are trying to organize a trip to Austin where we can interview each other and make some content. But we did realize that we scheduled that at the exact same time the hearing on UAPs was taking place, and now we're kind of on the fence about what to do.
I'm on the fence about whether, I'm almost leaning on the no side or whatever, but I'm open to it. And if you really want to go, it could definitely be fun.
I'm kind of on the fence as well. Like, part of me wants to go for the sort of historical opportunity, but the other side of it is, I think we'd have fun just hanging in Austin too.
Maybe sleep on it. And
yeah.
It's good to get a pulse on where you're at. Sounds like we're kind of similar page.
Yeah, man. Either way, I won't be disappointed. I'm looking forward to hanging out. I got my flight booked to Austin, so I'm headed to Austin, I think, Monday, no matter what. I mean, I'm even down to call an audible in Austin. Like, I don't really care, but
look for the signs. You're more elevated post Monroe, so you can tell me what the right thing is.
All right, I'll let you know if I see any.
Ever since I got back from the Monroe Institute, take this as you will, but 1111 has been showing up once a day at least. Whether it's on a clock or on a TV show or on, a piece of paper that I found, it's just been showing up like once a day since Monroe. If you take the, my date of birth and all that stuff, my number is also 11. So like it's popped up everywhere. Is it meaningful? I don't know. It's whatever meaning you want to put to it, but it just keeps popping up. And I always took it as like kind of a sign for what I don't know. And I never did. And I kept asking myself, what does this mean? What am I supposed to be looking for? What am I looking out for? Well, on December 11th, 11/11, I'm about to land in Chicago on my layover to Austin. And we were back and forth on the fence of whether or not we should go to DC. I'm in Chicago on my layover, and finally, last minute, Jesse's like, let's do it. And so I'm looking at flights. I see all the different flight options from Austin to DC. I screenshot them and I send them to Jesse. And then I notice what time it was. It was 11/11 on the 11th day of the 11th month. And as much as I was on the fence, and I really was on the fence because we had everything lined up in Austin already. My buddy Wes was there, it was a whole thing. I went, dude, we have to go now. And so for months, I've been wondering what 11/11 meant. And now I finally had an answer. And so off to DC I went. All right, just got to Washington. I'm with this guy.
What's up?
How you feeling about these next few days?
I'm psyched. I don't know, I'm cautiously optimistic, maybe a little skeptical as to what comes out, but I feel like, as with all these events, the hallway conversations are sometimes more revelatory and interesting than what gets said publicly. So
that is true. We'll have to find a way to get a hallway conversation on one of these things.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah?
I'm excited, man. I'm excited to be a part of history,
Yeah.
That's the one thing about this whole experience is that, like, okay, maybe nothing will come from it, but I think it's going to push the needle more than not.
Absolutely.
And I think just being in that room for the historic value that has is going to be pretty exciting.
Absolutely. I hope we learn a little bit more about Immaculate Constellation.
Yeah. We should probably get to a safer spot if we're going to discuss this stuff here.
All right, it is the morning of November 13th, 2024. This is the UAP hearing.
Jesse, can you tell us what happened to your video?
Yeah, so I made a video with Amar and Sean over here, and David Grush, UFO whistleblower who testified before Congress last year, summer of last year. He made some pretty crazy claims, which is that the U.S. has been engaging in covert reverse engineering UFO programs for the last 70, 80 years.
3 men who previously served in the military are set to speak publicly about what they saw in the sky and heard behind closed doors.
We went, I think, as deep as any UFO video gets when it comes to kind of the substance and getting close to the metal. And the video did really well initially, then it kind of plateaued. It was unsearchable if you searched his name, but you couldn't find it on YouTube. And then just a week ago, Sean over here was searching for it, couldn't find it, and we realized that it got taken down.
And not just that, it got taken down, and then you got a strike on your channel, which is like, that feels, oh man, like that's so extreme. I know I've been on YouTube for 10 years, and I've seen people do the craziest, most like outlandish, you know, illegal things, and they still don't even get a strike. So the fact that they would do that without even getting back to you or having a human that is communicating with you about it, that's like nuts.
Pretty serious.
That's nuts.
Jesse, do you feel like this, like there's somebody behind the scenes maybe trying to tamper with this video specifically, or is it, do you think it just has to do with copyright?
Well, you know, a guy making a claim.
We might need to save this conversation for a little bit later. That's fascinating. Thank you. Maybe not a conversation we should be having in an Uber.
Boys, quick photo.
We are at Rayburn House Office Building, where the oversight committee hearing is going to happen on UAP and UFOs. The last one happened July 26th, 2023. It is November 13th, 2024. So about a year and a half has passed. Some big changes in public perception and even public interest. The topic seems to be a lot more in the zeitgeist. It seems to be people just have a general interest into the topic, and just I think in the paranormal in general. I stopped having expectations in these moments that disclosure or moving humanity forward is going to happen because some oversight committee is going to like meet. Of course, all efforts are appreciated, but ultimately it's going to be a bigger awakening of the collective on the planet that is going to bring about this change. So, coming with good energy, praying for everyone there that is like actually holding the truth near and dear to their heart. But ultimately, I'm not expecting much.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling amazing. All right, we're standing right in front of the Rayburn building. This is insane. You know, I haven't been a part of this community for a very long time. So for me to be here with these people in this place is kind of surreal. I'm feeling like this is a big part of history, and I'm really lucky to be a part of it. So let's go see what's going on inside.
It was very cool being surrounded, as I mentioned, by, you know, so many heavy hitters in the UAP scene. I definitely felt an immense sense of imposter syndrome and out of my element a little bit. But, you know, me, I'm willing to, you know, fake it till I make it.
We got a celebrity over here. It is so fun to see, you know, obviously from last year to this year, Jesse's channel has picked up. A lot more people know what he does, and it's just amazing to see, because like I say this from the most sincere part of my heart, I think Jesse's the most important voice in the UFO world right now. He's one of the most intelligent, multidisciplinary, so it's amazing to see his work get recognized like this.
Yeah, being around some of the heavy hitters, so to speak, in this space has been. I'm just really grateful that I get to know some of these people, because it gets me into places that I wouldn't have access to. So, but as far as anything else goes, I am very happy just observing and being a fly on the wall.
And then the hearing happened.
Are these private companies you're implying, or is this non-human intelligence?
It may be both.
Okay.
When it comes to Blue Force Technologies, I would not be able to discuss
Okay.
it.
Are you read into secret UAP crash retrieval programs?
We would have to have a conversation in a closed session, ma'am. I signed documentation 3 years ago that restricts my ability to discuss specifically crash retrievals. I submitted for my book through the DOPSR process, which took a year for it to be reviewed. And what is in the book is what I was told I'm allowed to talk about.
Has the government conducted secret UAP crash retrieval programs, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, were they designed to identify and reverse engineer alien craft, yes or no?
Yes.
Do any U.S. contractors have the same?
I would prefer to address that in a closed session, ma'am.
What's the key takeaway, just a few seconds, about the Immaculate Constellation document you provided us today?
I think that what the American people need to know is that the U.S. military and intelligence community are sitting on a huge amount of visual and other information, still photos, video photos, other sensor information, and they have for a very long time. And it's not those fuzzy photos and videos that we've been given. There's very clear
high res,
high resolution.
How many visuals, graphics, videos, photos?
I mean, I've been told hundreds, maybe thousands.
My thoughts on the hearing, I definitely think that the answers that were provided didn't give us much, not as much as obviously the bombshells that Grush dropped last year. I think some of the questions were really revealing. And the reason for that is that especially Representative Luna and Boebert asked some really, really interesting questions. Luna asked about if the technology in the crafts are somehow linked to consciousness. I forget how she sort of asked that question, but I'll pull it up.
Mr. Elizondo, in regards to these aircraft being piloted by whatever they might be, non-human biologics, would you agree that it's likely that they are being piloted by some mind-body connection?
This flew over Lou's head. Lou answered a completely different question. He was not prepared for that question. He didn't think that she'd go that deep.
Ma'am, I think it is safe to presume here that they are being intelligently controlled because some cases seem to anticipate our maneuvers, and in other cases they seem to, I came across an email where the word stalked was used.
I thought that was a fantastic question. And the next question was by Boebert. She said something about the talk on the Hill is, hybrids. Here's the question.
Okay, so there are rumors that have come up to the Hill of a secretive project within the Department of Defense involving the manipulation of human genetics with what is described as non-human genetic material, potentially for the enhancement of human capabilities, hybrids. Are any of you familiar with that, yes or no?
No, ma'am.
I am not, ma'am.
I'm not.
No, ma'am.
The folks in Congress apparently received the Immaculate Constellation docs minutes before the hearing, so they did not have time to review it. And then there's nothing in here that talks about hybridization. It makes me believe, and according to this document as well, that multiple whistleblowers have been in contact with people of Congress and have gone into a skiff talking about their firsthand experience. Because when you have questions like hybridization or the human consciousness interfacing with the alien technology, when you have questions based on those things, you have to assume that one of two things. Either one, these people are going down deep wells in the YouTube rabbit holes. Maybe they're watching my videos. Or two, they're aware of more than the actual witnesses present on that panel that day were. And so I think we can retain a lot more from that hearing in two things. One, the things that weren't said, and two, the questions that were asked by the Congresswomen specifically. Lou was also asked about Lockheed Martin's involvement with underwater projects, and it got very dicey, very cagey, very quickly.
What's Lockheed's expertise?
Aerospace, ma'am.
In the UAP space, that's all that they wouldn't do submerged.
No, I didn't say that, ma'am.
Okay.
And I know a lot of people were like heck yeah, let's go talk about that. So even that I think was very interesting, and that's something for possibly Congress or myself even to look into.
Had to thread that needle a few times.
Yeah,
You guys.
They put you in some weird spots, but
They turn the screws for sure.
Yeah.
Ask them great questions.
Yeah.
In that room. That was the shock to me. And she's like on the Hill. She's like, a lot of discussions on the Hill right now are talking about like genetic programs and like hybridization. Like, what?
Well, I have a weird fact for everybody in this room, which is Department of Energy.
I'm gonna need a room back.
Oh, you are?
Oh, okay. No
Okay.
worries. Real cliffhanger.
We're moving on.
So yeah, although, you know, the answers were a little lackluster, I do think that this moves the needle forward in the right direction. As Amar said, and I'll echo his sentiments, if you think that you are going to get disclosure or government acknowledgement from one of these things, you're setting yourself up for failure. And so it is important to manage your expectations when going into these things. And I think that's something that I've learned, and it's something that I'm very happy with. You know, for me to even be a part of this historic event, as close as I was, I got to go into the room, by the way. So the public came in through the front doors. I was backstage with people like Ryan Graves and Lou Elizondo and the people in Congress in a small room, you know. And for me, as a Canadian magician, puzzle solver, YouTuber, to be in that room is just absolutely unbelievable. And I don't take it for granted. I'll tell you that right now. I soaked it up, and I am insanely grateful to Jesse Michaels for giving me that opportunity.
You have some final thoughts?
Yeah, man, it's okay. First of all, being a fly on the wall to this has been absolutely incredible. I've never felt a greater sense of imposter syndrome in my entire life. So, you know, ultimately, I'm just really grateful that I was able to sit in on such a historic event. And also, not to mention seeing, you know, especially Jesse's interaction with some of these real key players. It was fantastic to see an influencer, you know, for lack of a better term, be
a real influencer.
Yeah.
Content creator.
Can't stress on that enough. Jesse did not pay us to say any of this, but
yeah,
I speak on my behalf and on Chris's behalf too, because I know he would agree. Jesse's the most important voice in the UFO domain right now. There's nobody that researches deeper than him. There's nobody that has the multidisciplinary approach that he has.
Correct.
So I'm blessed to be his friend. I'm blessed to be supporting on this mission, and for both of us to be here, you know, getting more out of this for other people that couldn't be in Washington or not going to watch C-SPAN to be able to know what happened today.
I feel like a lot of the key players who are looking for disclosure are now realizing that, you know, obviously having a strong social media presence is a way, but not only that, is that Jesse's voice is important in all this.
Yeah.
So it's not just his numbers that they're interested in, they're actually interested in his brain and how he thinks about the, you know, this phenomenon. So to watch someone who's in the same space that I'm in, you know, obviously much further along, but to see that type of influence that he has, enough to get us courtside seats to the UAP hearing. You know what I mean? So I feel grateful. I feel like I've bypassed a lot of things to get here, and I'm just gonna say I feel really grateful for that. And so
we just met. Beautiful friendship in the making right here.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah,
Amar, I want to say, I think you have one of the most genuine approaches to this topic that I've ever seen so far. I think that there is like a good-natured, good-heartedness about you that this topic specifically needs. It really stems from genuine curiosity, but also love for mankind.
Absolutely.
And I think as close as you can come to the subject, the better the subject will be because of it.
Yes.
So
my God.
Absolutely.
And I also, actually, what I was saying more is that I also think if you're getting close to the subject and you're not seeing that it's contributing positively to your life, then your approach is wrong, the timing you're approaching is wrong. Because what I was affirming here is like, I feel like my life is better through the humility that the exposure to the subject and looking deeper into it has allowed me to gain. I'm a lot more spiritual. I'm a lot more humble. I'm a lot more empathetic towards people who
who don't share the same story, the same life experience. So I'm just feel very grateful to be here. I feel like we're all gonna look back. We're gonna be sitting together as old men and thinking like, you remember when we were there when everybody still didn't know anything about UFOs, and now there's some UFO in a museum somewhere, for the public to see.
Wow.
So I really
UFO
prophetic right here.
I have that vision since last year. I've had that vision held so near and dear. Is that one day there will be a UFO at a museum that the public will be able to see.
In your lifetime?
In our lifetime, and we'll be able to go together and be like, we contributed to this being here today.
What a mind-blowing thought experiment that was.
Yeah.
I never thought that's... Yeah, of course. Yeah, I see it too now.
All right. Love it.
Thanks, Amar.
Of course.
Beautiful.
So there you have it. That was my experience at the UAP hearing. I thought it was very interesting. Several days later, there was the Senate hearing on UAP featuring the head of AARO, Dr. Kozlowski. A bunch of nothing there, to be honest. So I won't even review that. If you want to check it out, it's very short. But yeah, you're not missing much. And that's it for the update. I hope you enjoyed this extra little episode that I put together for you guys, that I worked quite hard on, because I do appreciate you. And I want to thank you guys for continuing to support this channel personally. Thank you. It is because of you that we are able to do this. And I am eternally grateful for your support. And I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me in Discord and, chatting with me. It feels good to have familiar faces now that I can, come to with information. And you guys are actually providing an immense amount of information to this podcast and to this channel. And so for that, I am truly grateful. Thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.